To close off this episode, we have E.T. the Extraterrestrial Interplanetary Mission. I'd played this once for about half an hour around 20 years ago. There was a market my grandparents took us to a couple times, and there was one stall that sold extremely cheap pirated PS1 games. They were all NTSC versions, so they'd only display on my TV in black and white, and a good chunk of them either took ages to get working or didn't work at all. I think I only played this one that day because it was the only one of the batch we bought that worked right away. As for E.T. the film, I definitely liked it the times I watched it as a kid, but I don't think I've watched it since the late 90s when I was around 6. I couldn't tell you a thing about it. I know there's flying bikes and he dies or something, that's all I can bring back. The game is very light on story, but I believe it's about E.T.'s journey to Earth while passing through a few planets on the way. Starting a new game puts me on the first level of the planet Botanicus. After a loading screen that's too long to have any excuse for by 2002, this level explains one of E.T.'s skills, healing plants with Circle, which then allows me to pick them up. This first level is just me healing and collecting 4 plants in an enclosed space. Then there's Telekinesis with Triangle, which lets me lift and move certain objects. So the game has me pulling flowers down from pillars and from behind walls so I can heal them and collect them. I'm next taught the Heart Stun, first to stun an enemy, and then to defeat them. Defeated enemies drop mushrooms, which act as my health meter, starting full at 99. While being made to practice this, I also find an extra life token with a picture of E.T.'s head on it. This section also adds more methods of travelling through the levels. E.T. can't jump, so he has to run up ramps if he needs to get higher, though they are a bit dodgy. He can fall off a side and then suddenly snap back on it further up. There's also these doors with crystals on that require pressing a switch in the floor to open. Then there are the switches that require telekinesis to be put in their proper places. Through the door it opens and I'm shown how to run with R2, which is needed for escaping this big red bull. There are also dash pads on the floor to give me a boost as well. Once I reach the end, I'm next taught how to pick up objects with square and then place them where they're needed to open more doors. After that, I'm just running in a straight line dealing with more bugs until I reach the ramp at the end, leading to the ET marker at the end that completes the level. Botanicus 2 next, and the first thing you'll probably notice when playing this game is the soundtrack. Where is it? Imagine having the only music in a Smash Bros game be environmental noises. That's the game's soundtrack. I'll probably just put some space theme music from other games over this or something. So each level is an isometric maze puzzle and I have to work out the way to the exit. There's a spot for an item in front of the door where I start. I cross the bridge to the north and go up the ramp to find one of the crystals, which I use my telekinesis to slowly drag all the way back. I open the door and don't go through it. Instead I explore that northern area, getting nothing but my first death when I slide into the swamp. I go through the door to the east and navigate a series of ramps going north until I reach the exit. Botanicus 3 now. The door at the start requires one of these armadillo things on the switch to open it, so I knock it over and drop it there to get through. South through another door to find another locked door, this time requiring 2 armadillos. They're nearby so it's unlocked in no time. To the east is another door needing 3 armadillos. The first one is right next to me. He's a stubborn one too and ignores the barriers that are supposed to keep him trapped inside. Once he's in there, I go north up this nearby bridge to find the second to carry back and put in place. The last one is in the northwest corner of this section and now I can go through the door. I follow the one-way path north, east and up the bridge to find a switch asking for a carryable item. So I cross the bridge to the west to find it. I place it to lower this log to the south and cross the bridge behind it to reach another door needing just 1 armadillo. It's a very long one-way path north to the exit. This takes me to Botanicus 4. To start with I have to kill a bug to gain the crystal thing to put on the switch to open the door. Past it is another locked door needing another crystal. I head north and meet my first real threat, these green wizards. They damage me on contact and can cast spells to hit me within a certain range. Turns out this corner just has mushrooms to heal the damage I take exploring it, so I go east instead. I run through this maze until I find a bug in some walls, take it out and kill it for another of those crystals. I bring it back and use it to open the next door. I keep running east until I have to turn north, avoiding a bull and running west. It gets really hard to describe where I'm going thanks to the combination of limited view and so much looking the same. I go north to find a narrow path to run west through to the end until I can turn and run east, getting an extra life on the way. One detail you may have noticed is One detail you may have noticed is ET getting progressively greyer as he takes damage. I keep running all the way east until I reach the exit marker. Botanicus 5 next. While grabbing a plant from over a fence, a bull's fart cloud, I guess, hits me and gets me my first death. I run east along the north edge while dealing with another bull. I then head generally southwest for a bit while not much happens worth pointing out. All the way at that end is a ramp and a wall to cross, putting me right next to another bull. There's a switch to stand on to open the way forward, and from there I get running northeast. Eventually I turn around and get moving south and west a little until I reach another bull, then run straight east into the exit. That's about 6 minutes I condensed into that paragraph there. This leads me to the Botanicus boss. It's just another kind of level. I'm told that the Vegicorn King of Botanicus has asked E.T. to build his throne for him. I have to find his throne room and then the 3 pieces of the throne to build it. I start in front of a switch needing a crystal. I go to the southeast to find it up a ramp and have to avoid another wizard while picking it up, resulting in another death. I get it next time and place it on the switch, which allows me to go up the ramp it opens up. I go up the bridge here and follow it all the way to the northwest. I then have a very long run east to a dickhead ramp that slides me into a wizard. Keep going south to find 2 switches wanting an armadillo. I go up and down the nearby ramps to find the first one and slowly inch it over to the switch while avoiding another wizard, until I realise it'll just follow behind me where I walk, which makes it much easier. Slightly north of the switch I find a hidden extra life. West of the switches and then north is where the second armadillo is, and I place it to unblock a ramp nearby. The ramp leads to a switch that opens a path further north and I reach the king's throne room. The 3 pieces of the throne are here and I place them all on the purple squares to build it. And there's the end of Botanicus. E.T. dances with the king and a pair of the wizards that were trying to hinder him. E.T. is beamed away as the king asks him to go to the planet Bahrain to defeat the giant spiky that rules over the other creatures. So, Bahrain won. We swapped the plant planet for the desert planet. Still no music though. To the east is an electric barrier, so instead I go south and drop down to get attacked by this huge red thing. It's faster than me too, so it hits me twice as I run south to these fans and get lifted up onto another bridge. It takes me to the switch that turns off the barrier by the start. But I'm still on a timer, so I have to rush by the red thing without being killed. I make it and this planet has mushrooms replaced with water drops for my health, and a different kind of plant. I drop down south again and run all the way, then east into a teleporter that puts me in a slightly more open area. The minor enemies here are these floating eels. I go south to find the switch that turns off the barrier east of the teleporter. Another path south, then up a fan to drop down to the north, then north to another fan lifting me up to a barrier requiring an item to open. It's back south where I last used the fan, I just missed it. I get through the gate and go east to find an extra life, then west to follow the path north and east to find the exit teleporter. Bahrain 2. There's a barrier to the west so I drop down to the south. I just barely avoid the big red thing as I make it to the fan further south and press a switch that opens that barrier. There's one here too. Past the first barrier is a switch that opens a second one. I drop down to the west and get instantly taken out by a red alien. I run west, pressing a switch on the way to get rid of the barrier past the next fan. I go north, grabbing a crystal on the way. Up the next fan, I place the crystal on a switch to open the gate here. I then go east, south and west to find another extra life. I drop down west and take a teleporter. It drops me right next to a big alien, and so I run east and north, finding a switch that opens a gate somewhere. I end up getting killed looking for it. The gate turns out to be all the way south from the switch, and behind it is the level exit. Bahrain 3. This time I have to walk north without touching the lava, which is an instant kill. I end up dying twice on my way to the teleporter at the other end. It puts me in attacking range of the big charging thing. Right next to the teleporter is a switch that opens a gate to the north of the teleporter. Then there's a pad that launches me south over the fence. The teleporter here isn't working and there's a barrier to the northwest, but to the south is another launch pad. I go west first and use a fan to reach a crystal. Then to the northwest I go past another teleporter and go over a couple of fans to reach the switch for the crystal. It opens the gate next to it and I go through to find the switch that opens the gate in the previous area. I take the teleporter I skipped to end up at the one I couldn't use before. I then go through the gate I opened to another, once the alien gets his ass out of the way and lets me use it anyway. Next to the teleporter is a switch and I have to rush through a narrow path surrounded by lava to reach the gate it opened. It takes me 2 tries and behind it is another switch and an extra life. I rush through the paths ahead getting another life on the way, but run out of time. I get through after a couple more tries and reach the exit. Bahrain 4. I start by going south and east past a big pair of statues. Then as I continue, I get aliens throwing fireballs at me until I reach this launch pad next to a gate. It puts me right next to the switch that opens said gate. I have to avoid a big fast kicking guy and run west to get launched back over and get through the gate. But first time I run out of time, and second time I get killed by a fireball right as I was about to get through. Third try I get through and then take the fan up to get immediately kicked in the face. I take the path south and north to find a switch that opens the gate to the northwest. I drop down to the west and then go southeast and then west through a narrow path to a teleporter. I get kicked in the face again and press the nearby switch to get through the gate to the west and onto another teleporter. I go south to find a crystal and an extra life, then north and up a fan to go east into this maze. I run through it only to get fireballed to death as I get out. Past it again and further east takes me to the switch to place the crystal that opens the gate to the exit. This gets me to the Bahrain boss. The giant spiky has trapped 2 apes and electric pens and I have to free them so that they'll help me fight him off. I start next to a switch requiring a crystal. I go up the fan to the north and drop to the east to find that the big red things that have been chasing me are the spikies. First I run to the northeast to find the crystal I need. I run back to the start and place it to get rid of the barrier and run through it to reach the teleporter at the end. The teleporter then takes me to the giant spiky, and I first take the teleporter to the east to find another barrier, an extra life, and the launch pad sending me back to him. I next take the southwestern teleporter and run past the regular spiky to reach the fan and take it up to another crystal. I then run southeast and use the fan to reach the switch for the crystal, freeing the first ape. To the north, I launch myself back by the boss and take the northeastern teleporter again since the gate is opened. Behind it is the next crystal and I follow the path west to find the next switch and place it. This grants me a cutscene of the apes nailing the giant spiky in the balls with fireballs while E.T. just stands there between them facing the other direction. It dies and everyone dances. The planet is free and E.T. next travels to Sclavus. Sclavus 1 next. This planet is pretty much just a load of catwalks over lava, with the basic enemies being sort of robot manta ray. I go north and up a ramp but slip off and fall in the lava for an instant death. I get up next time and keep going north and then east, then south down a few ramps and narrow paths. Next comes a series of conveyors taking me south, east, west and leading to a ramp up to a teleporter. I cross a gap using some fans and press a green switch to get rid of the green barrier in front of me. Then past it is the red switch for the barrier going east. It leads to a big robot and I stun it to hit the blue switch here and get running south. I go west and run past another robot to get going east again. On this next catwalk there's an extra life to drag over the lava to me. To the south is a long narrow line of fans I have to float across, moving south, east and north. There's a hopping robot here shooting lasers for me to run past to the north and then east to another conveyor. In the area it leads to, I go south and west over a series of fans to grab an item and take a teleporter. I follow the path south and west, then north past a pair of giant robots, running east to find the switch to place that item on and open the gate leading to the exit. Sclavus 2. I go north across the bridge to find red, green and blue barriers, the latter with its switch right next to it. I go through and have a robot dash in and kill me. In this area is a switch for the green barrier to the east. This takes me to the switch for the red barrier to the north. I follow the path north, all the way west to find another blue switch and then all the way east. Through the gate is another extra life. I go north up the ramp and west to find another switch item, then go back and south. I go south all the way to place the item and open the gate. There's a green gate here and to the south is another extra life. To the east is a blue switch opening the gate to the south leading to a teleporter. It leads northeast to a green switch which leads me south to a red switch opening up the path to the east to another teleporter that ends the level. Sclavus 3. There's a blue gate to the west and a green gate to the east. In the opposite corner to the blue gate is the blue switch. Through there I go north and east along a catwalk, passing a red gate to find the red switch and go through it. Through the gate is the green switch and with it pressed I can go east. I pass the first ramp and go up the second to the north, finding a switch key along the way. In the next area I get shot to death by a robot. I have to run west at the north end, avoiding both the conveyors going the other way and more robots shooting me. I place the key to open the path forward where I can get an extra life off to the side. I have to get around these giant brain things and get to a catwalk with a giant robot and another key just out of reach. So instead I run south, over more fans and reach red, green and blue switches, pressing them to clear out the gates ahead. Around here I get my 100th plant and after all that, it just gets me an extra life. Continuing east I do the same thing again and cross some fans to get going north. I reach the end, turn and go south to get attacked with another new robot with a massive arm. I reach the switch requiring the key and realise I'm a fucking idiot just before I die. Next time I remember I have telekinesis and can bring the key down. I somehow fall through a fan on the way back, but next time I get that key and walk into the lava again trying to avoid the robot. I get back to the switch, place the key and go through the gate. I then follow the conveyor to reach the end of the level. Sclavus 4. East and south from the start is a switch needing a key and a green barrier. North of the start is a blue gate, red gate and another switch. West of the start is a conveyor I can take further west to find the red switch and then south of it a teleporter. It puts me behind the blue gate where I can grab a key and press the blue switch. But the key is going in circles on this conveyor and is a pain to grab. I place it on the northern switch to open the gate to another red switch. Through it, west and north, then east to press another blue switch for the gate higher up. Behind it is the second key and the green switch for the one nearby. It leads to a teleporter and I go south from it to press another blue switch to open the gate to another teleporter. From there I go south to place the key on the first switch I found so I can reach the switch for the first green gate I found. Behind it is a load of conveyors. To the north is an extra life and a blue gate, to the south is a switch for it. I die getting caught on a conveyor and crashing into a passing robot. Past the gate I have to run south past a robot to reach another red switch for the gate nearby, but it has just 3 health behind it. North from that gate is a green one, the switch being on the other side and only pressed when a pacing robot steps on it. Then north up a ramp is the same situation with a blue gate. I drop down a nearby conveyor and finally finish the level. I actually somehow enjoyed that level, I couldn't tell you why. This just leaves the Sclavus boss. I have to shut down the Sclavus furnace, powered by plants, by placing bombs on the conveyors. To start with, I step across several teleporters to find a blue gate at every one. When I reach the start again, a brain passes by and steps on the switch for me. I can see the bomb here, but instead I get on the conveyor and get dragged into the furnace's core, letting ET burn to death. It also wiped out all 9 of my lives at once, leading to a game over. You can save after every level though, so it's fine. So I have to wait for a bomb to appear in each section and place it on the conveyor to bust it and stop that conveyor. Not much to say, I just have to do it on all 4 of them to destroy the furnace and have a dance. ET's next destination is the planet Astrila, where a huge snowman has frozen the planet. Astrila 1. Here's Ice Physics the planet, and I hate it. We've got Rams as the basic enemy this time, along with the widest baboon spitting fire at me. To the south is a locked door to a conveyor needing a switch. I take a second conveyor further south, leading to the huge key that activates the switch. Past the first conveyor is a long run north and east. South from there is a Yeti and the key I need to pull from its switch to open the way further south. I then place that key on the switch a little further and go on another conveyor. Running east a little gets me flung around a loop of launchers. I go north and follow the path around. One thing I will say is that the ice can be fun to run on when there's nothing in your way, as you're just zipping about the screen. I go south and then have to navigate this maze of launchers, grabbing an extra life on the way until I reach the exit. That one wasn't so bad, but it'll get worse. Astrila 2. I start by taking the key to this switch and placing it on the one next to it to open the conveyor leading to the north. This gets me bounced across a load of launch pads as I make my way to the one in the northeast corner. I head north some more until I reach the next one, which lands me in front of the fireball and gets me killed. Dying here sends me all the way back to that first conveyor. I make the landing without dying, cross over the little bridge and keep moving north. I get launched into another ice pit to cross another bridge, to keep going north and through another conveyor to a launch pad that sends me north some more to pass through 2 more conveyors to reach the key to the conveyor I started in front of. Why the fuck did I write myself a sentence that long? I then die right after. Then comes a long trek back to the start to place it and get the extra life behind it. I then remove the very first key I messed with and put it back where I found it to open the gap to the exit. I compressed it down a lot. That was nearly 10 minutes of pissing about with ice physics. Astrila 3 next. I press a switch to get onto a conveyor going east, then east some more past a second, and then a third, getting an extra life at the end. I use the launch pad to reach a key I take. I place it a little further to the east and get through the door. The next switch is behind a wall, so I have to lead an enemy to walk onto it so I can get through the next wall. I go east more and get launched over another wall. It leads to a teleporter to a narrow path I run along so that I can reach a chain of launch pads that take me west and then north to another teleporter. There's this thing with the legs hopping around and creating shockwaves while I have to move the key over the wall onto the switch so that I can get out and get killed by another fireball. I get on the conveyor and follow it all the way to the end. I go west onto another conveyor and slide off to take the launch pad there. I step on a switch to go through a door to find another conveyor. It was the boredom from playing this planet that made it sink in that I didn't care for this game. I follow the conveyor to another launch pad and then navigate a long series of paths west to find a key to take. I get on another nearby conveyor and ride to the switch that opens the door to an extra life. I take the key again and get moving west along another conveyor to reach the end of the level, thank fuck. At this point I was starting to regret deciding to record the game, but I was most of the way through now so I may as well see it through. Astrila 4. I grab the extra life hidden in the rocks and then carry a key over to a switch to pass through another conveyor and go north to get launched over a wall. Then press a switch to run through a door. North some more to press a switch to get onto this bridge and slide down to die picking up a flower. I get back and launch myself onto a conveyor that takes me to another key. I run south into this large area filled with launch pads and ramps. I take the ramp and path to the east, getting an extra life on the way. After several minutes of aimless wandering around, which includes finding 2 switches the key doesn't work with, I find the switch to my south across from a wall. So I place it there to open the nearby door. It leads to a bigger key, which I die picking up. I take it to the switch in the northeast corner and place it to gain access to a third key, then die next to the switch in the southeast corner. I place the key and open the door to finally finish this one. That just leaves the Astrila boss. I have to get inside the snowman's lair and heartstun the rams into him. So I take the conveyor to the west and then go north to open up another. I keep making my way north until I'm going east across all these hills, then south to another conveyor where I drag a key over the wall to open it. I go south and east to find 2 empty switches. One key is to the east and I place it. The other one is to the west across the conveyor and I place that too. It opens up the teleporter into the snowman's lair. It chases me around and throws gigantic snow boulders at me while I drag rams over from behind the walls. I stun it once and then hit it again to send it flying into the snowman. This guy kills me 3 times before I get enough hits in. He passes out, I dance, and I can finally leave this planet behind and forget about it. All that's left now is Earth, where I have to gather 4 items so E.T. can phone home. Earth 1 then. I start in this little area with what looks to me like a fan, a record player and a giant credit card. I can only go west to start with and follow that path, taking on hedgehogs and bats. This time the big indestructible enemies are farmers with pitchforks. Running down to the southwest corner and avoiding a second, I can find another extra life, but it's a dead end and the farmer kills me. Instead I take the first southern turn and follow that path, turning south whenever I could to find what I think is the fan. I then go back the way I came and place it over the picture of one. This ends the level. Earth 2 and I'm started in the same area. This time I can only go north. In this area I go east and up a ramp onto this wall. I run north into the back and follow the path around and drop down to the west. I follow the path and go south, then drop to the east and climb a ramp, going north to find... Well, I'm sure if I remembered the film I'd know what this is. I grab it, but I can't come back the way I came this time. I get going west and follow the path north, trying to avoid getting E.T. beaten by the cops. I turn the corner and after grabbing an extra life, a cop kills him. I run south and east to go up a ramp and drop down at the start where I can place the item and finish the level. Earth 3, we're getting there. This time I'm heading east. I go all the way south and then east and north, avoiding an armed mobster I assume. I cross another bridge and go all the way north to this wall that I follow to the east and then go up this ramp next to a shed. I run south until I can get running down this stream. At the end I run west to find an extra life. I cross a bridge east and run north to find a record player in a pond. I then run back the way I came and place it to be done with this one. Phone home, the final level. This time I'm running south, taking a few turns and running over streams, but still mainly travelling south. Eventually I get turning west and then north across a stream. Going west and following that path south takes me to a series of ramps leading north towards either a satellite dish or an inside out umbrella. I can then run north to land by the start, place it and see E.T. dance. And I felt like dancing too, because the game was finished. Just a block of text and E.T.'s ship taking off, that's all. This game is dull. I get they wanted a slow, puzzle maze game, but with most things looking the same in the limited view and the total absence of any soundtrack, plus how easy it is to get ambushed by a big enemy and killed without being able to react, made me realise why I probably only played it for half an hour 20 years back. I actually pushed this video back a few times. First it was planned for episode 33, but I had no idea how I was going to script these boring samey levels, and so I pushed it back to episode 35. And then I pushed it back and replaced it with Sengoku for the same reason. And then I started writing this, and wanted to back out for that reason, but I already put it in the next episode preview and locked it in. It's not a terrible game, but it's just so nothing that for months I'd forgotten I'd even recorded it. And I had the feeling once I no longer have to remember anything once this video is done, I'll forget everything. I don't even know where it's going to be ranked as I'm writing this. I'm panning over the games I didn't like section, all those ranked below PS1 Millionaire, and no spot feels right yet. You watching only have to wait about 30 seconds to find out, it's going to take me a bit longer.